Security is on everybody's mind. It's probably the biggest issue when it comes to technology today. And again, we tend to think about security in maybe the most complicated or maybe the scariest components of security, hackers, really intelligent, nefarious people penetrating your networks or figuring out, some sort of James Bond kind of stuff to take advantage of your company. And don't get me wrong, this stuff is out there and it's something you should be aware of. But the reality is the biggest risk inside your company are your own employees. And that's because things like ransomware and phishing are really the primary ways that hackers are getting access to company assets. And that's both, a little bit discouraging, but also encouraging. And there's two sides to that. And the discouraging part is that means everybody in the company has to understand security and has to be kind of on the front lines of helping protect the company. And let's face it, most people don't want to deal with that. They're not good at it. It gets in the way. It causes friction sometimes with being able to deliver day-to-day work. And so it's frustrating. I mean, if you got multiple logins or multi-factor authentication, or you go work somewhere else and now you can't get access to your files because there's a geographic limitation, that really bugs people. But you got to get them to the point where they understand why that stuff is happening. So it really it's kind of two pieces to what I'd call training or employee awareness around security. One of them is making sure that they understand why you're doing what you're doing and that they know what it is, so that when something like that happens, they get an MFA prompt or they get blocked from getting something, they at least know what the hell is going on. So they're not calling IT support or getting upset. And then maybe the second part, particularly if you're in a leadership role, is you really have to, if you want buy-in from your employees, you got to walk the talk. You can't have separate rules for the employees and then be like, well, those don't apply to me. I do things different because I can't really be burdened with the security stuff. I mean, you can try that crap, but I will tell you that you will not get buy-in from your employees if you do that. So you got to walk the talk on that as a leader, whether you're the IT, CIO, or maybe even more important, if you're the head of operations, you're the CEO. If you're not doing it, don't expect your employees to do it. It's the same. It's not any different for security compliance as it is for anything else. But let's face it, it's even more important for this, because this kind of stuff it is a hassle for employees. There's no question. Ideally, we wouldn't have to deal with this stuff, but we do. So you got to lead by example, and then you got to make sure that your folks understand what it is you're trying to do on the security side.